support today for Lindsay Clancy. Hundreds of women, all dressed in pink, cheered the accused mom as she arrives in a police caravan for her murder trial. Supporters ran across the field to greet Lindsay. Some came with their babies. They held up heart hands during a silent rally for the mom who strangled her 3 young children, then jumped from the second-floor window, leaving her paralyzed for life.
It's a buzz around here, guys.
Fox News legal analyst Chanley Painter, a former prosecutor, actually wore pink in her live report as she spoke to Lindsay's defense attorney, who was greeted with cheers.
Hey, guys. What do you think of the support for Lindsay Clancy out here?
I have no words.
No words?
It's amazing.
The rally for Lindsay Clancy is not just in Plymouth, Massachusetts, where the trial is being held. There are gatherings across the USA today, including here in New York in Union.
Patrick Clancy's situation is just showing how propaganda works. But luckily, my 2 favorite hobbies are proving people wrong and being right. I will also say you have to remember that content creators are going to push out what is popular so that they can be monetized, okay? It doesn't mean that they have the best intent on spreading truth, okay? So I'm going to disprove a lot of the claims that they are just making money off of and people are eating it up. So the first claim has nothing to do with the trial, but it's just so easy to disprove. And it's the claim that his wife now in 2026, back in 2023, they competed in the same marathon, the Bermuda Marathon. That is actually very easy to disprove because all this person did on the internet was take the roster from 2026 and just claim it was 2023. And people were like, sold on that idea, didn't even look into it. Very easy to disprove. There's a theory online that Reddington, the lawyer for Lindsay, is basically setting up Patrick to take the fall. And if you believe in this theory, you clearly have not been watching the trial. I'm just going to show you a couple clips.
She knows that she killed these children. We'll sit here and listen to their evidence. And I suggest to you that the issue, the consideration is what was going on in that woman's mind.
Did you catch that? Reddington says that Lindsay did it. Okay? That's important.
And Patrick, not because of COVID. Not because of he just didn't want to work in an office anymore. He worked out of his basement. He worked in an office in the basement. He was there because of what Lindsay was going through. He was there. He lived it. And he will testify to it. He doesn't have to testify, quite frankly.
Reddington is literally singing his praises, basically saying that he was working from home, he was traveling less, he was doing all of this because he was trying to support his family and Lindsay through this episode, which that's his whole point, is that she was mentally unstable. So he is going to use Patrick to prove that.
Maybe she killed her child, but men don't understand how bad postpartum depression can be, and there needs to be sympathy and empathy for her.
She killed 3 infants. Where is the sympathy and empathy for the infants?
Postpartum depression is a psychosis, and it needs to be empathized with.
Okay, what about the people with mental health problems that shoot up schools or become terrorists? Do you think we should have empathy for them?
That is a separate issue. That is gun control. Right now, we are talking about the patriarchy oppressing a woman.
The infants are the ones that got killed. I mean, what oppression are you talking about? Do you know that there are mothers on TikTok that are confidently posting videos of themselves carrying their own children and saying that they relate to Lindsay? Do you know how dark and sadistic that is? I mean, what are you talking about?
It's not about the babies. It's about the fact that the husband was neglectful and pushed her wife into doing such a...
Her husband took a 12-week paternity leave, hired a nanny, saw that wasn't enough, so moved his work to his home so that...
This is something more sinister. What explains the outpouring of love for the mom who strangled her kids? Why are people trying so hard to exonerate her? When some criminal migrant masturbates in front of children at a public beach, the dads rightfully beat the shit out of him. But a woman suffering with suicidal empathy intervenes to protect and comfort that child sex offender? When you see an invasion of Spain, you see a woke woman gleefully waving the invaders in. Is this what matriarchy looks like? Where this kind of suicidal empathy that exploits the noble virtue of unconditional maternal compassion and perverts it towards the criminal dregs of society, all because wokeness now supersedes all normal virtue? We've heard that expression, it's a face that only a mother can love. I know I always heard it. We all know that unconditional maternal love, that superpower that God imbued into our mothers to make sure they loved us, irrationally loved us, so they didn't toss us into the damn river as babies when we're crying all night long for months on end. Their maternal love must supersede all reason and normal emotion in order to make sure that they can even make it through. But now that irrational love isn't pointed at our own vulnerable children. It's been reallocated towards whatever group the algorithm has designated as the vulnerable class. Criminal migrants, drug addicts on the street, any and all of the worst cretins of the planet get full feminine favor and protection as long as they're not the ultimate Satan, the white male.
Outcomes for the Lindsay Clancy case. If Lindsay Clancy is found guilty of what she is doing, this will set women back like 300 years. If Lindsay Clancy is proven innocent, TikTok investigators and astrological justice verdicts will be the new standard in the public court. I just know the CIA is doing backflips of excitement about this case. If Lindsay Clancy loses, not only will this hysteria never be forgotten in the eyes of men and women who are against it, it will genuinely work against a lot of genuinely good, well-meaning women's opinions, because they will all be watered down from all the people watching this case. And it's being pushed everywhere now. And the women championing it have to really be sure they're on the money with this one, because if they are wrong, it is not going to just look bad on you, because women represent as a collective. And because women represent as a collective, that means it's going to reflect on the collective. Giving my stance on it, I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing. I'm saying that this will be the baseline, base IQ public perception of this case on aggregate. And if Lindsay Clancy is proven completely innocent, will give way to public justice via TikTok, via astrological readings, via women's intuition, and will embolden this as a serious point of public justice in the future. And I'm sure everybody has their thoughts and opinions on if that's a good or a bad thing. Do you think it needs to be taken into account that not every single opinion, every single person online is made in good faith? Some people have genuinely hateful opinions of people, not based on evidence, but they want to find somebody guilty because of their sex or gender. I believe women are just as guilty of this as men are guilty of this. I do not believe one sex is completely excluded from that. That makes no sense.
All right. Welcome everybody to another episode of the Ladies Table. I'm your host, Jeff St. James. We have Maggie the Substitute, Miss Crimson Cure, Miss Anita, Dr. Messi, and Raquel Smell the Roses here as well. So ladies, welcome to a very interesting follow-up conversation that we didn't know we were going to have to circle back to with the influx of support that this woman is getting. I believe that she's cleared over $1 million in donations around the country of people donating to a GoFundMe for her. And what y'all think? And everybody that's currently watching, wherever you're watching from, please make sure that you like this. Make sure that you follow everybody that you see on the screen, and feel free to hit the super chat button if you want to show love, have a question or comment for sure. And real quick, before everybody even jump in, shout out to Swag Life for becoming a new member. Mr. Cookif, achievement unlocked. Appreciate you, good sir. And then also the $10. I, for one, think the reactions by women is the best possible outcome. Dispels the myth that women are virtuous, shows a capacity for harm that is not only real, but self-organizing and utterly unaware. So ladies, feel free to jump in with what do y'all think about this ongoing case and the amount of people who are riding with Lindsay Clancy.
I think it's scary. And this is going to be one of those points in our history where we're seeing the decline. We're seeing the decline in society in real time. And it's scary. It's downright scary. But this is one of many things that's probably going to happen that is going to, shift our society down the wrong path.
What about the rest of y'all?
I'm leaving. So they can do what they want. I'm out of here. Okay. I already told all these passport bros to save me a room, child, because these people are crazy. They've been crazy. So now you got all these white women. Yes, it's about race now. All these white women out here, white women in. Just sitting up here and just like forget these kids, right? Does anybody talk about these kids? I'm like, y'all do realize there's 3 babies that are gone, and all these white women are out here cutting for this woman. And somebody said in the chat, I hope there's no black women that are supporting them. There are. It's not a lot, but there's enough under the guise of this. We have the right to. But when you have people sitting up here cheering on the fact that they can delete their babies up until the 9th month, what did y'all think they was going to think once they got here? They can do whatever they want. So all the people that sit there and think that that shit is cute, I'm sorry, that think that that mess is cute, that they were happy in Massachusetts as pigs and you know what, that we can delete our kids up into the 9th month. Oh my God. And I'm just looking like, that's weird. Like this heifer, this is crazy. I said, I already told everybody, I said, y'all wasn't getting no woman president. Y'all definitely not getting one after this. I wasn't voting for no woman any daggone way, but you're not going to get one after this. Y'all look crazy. And any woman, you support whatever you want. I just feel like if you supporting this heifer, this Lindsay Clancy, I didn't even know about this till you brought it up last time. Let me calm down. I didn't even know about this case till you brought it up last time. And we've been talking about it every day since then because it gets more and more wild every day. And the amount of women that sit here and it's like, oh, but she. And all I can say is, but those kids. These people don't care about these kids. These heifers have never cared about these kids. White women get everything that they want. They get everything that they want. That heifer had money. That heifer had a nanny. That heifer had the best of everything, a whole ass husband. She still wasn't happy. Now you got these heifers online because they need some damn attention. Now listen, I'm not saying that we ain't got no problems, y'all. I'm not saying that. But child, these white women can have whatever they want and they still need some damn attention.
I'm gonna go right behind Miss Messy with that. This is a white woman's thing, and I'm not saying that there's 0% of black women, but it has been a minority, a vast minority too. That sea of women in pink was mostly white. I didn't really see a black one in there, not to say that it may not have been one. But the most pushback that I have seen online has been with black women saying, what are y'all crazy? Because here's the other thing, not even so much to get so far into that part of it from that perspective. But when Miss Messy say white women get whatever they want, they do be getting whatever they want. Okay? And here's the thing. To push for this, I find it real crazy that they are not only pushing the postpartum excuse, because I don't, again, like I said last time, I don't believe that she had postpartum nothing. Postpartum depression cycle, nothing. Well, nothing was wrong with her. Okay, nothing was wrong with her. Millions of women, whether they struggling to take care of their kids or not, go through a whole bunch of stuff with their kids, whether they single mothers, whether they are married with their children, this, that, and the third, and they don't just off their kids. Their kids be 10 years old talking about I'm postpartum and then you want to off them. That's not the answer. Like, it's a lot of women that do not do that. And are not, and I, for one, as a black woman, before I continue to say what I'm saying, not wearing that jacket. I'm not wearing the we off babies jacket. It's a reason why it was, because when I did a show on it, I showed that same clip of the governor of Connecticut signing that law and all those women behind her kikiing like it was funny. It's not funny. They like to be able to do what they want to do. I'm trying to be a little bit politically correct because the certain demographic of people like to off their families from the male side and the female side. And the women just want to be able to do it with an excuse about what they going through, quote unquote, when you have a child. I don't want to hear that foolishness. Getting into postpartum or your body having to heal or your hormones do not make you send your husband out on an errand and then off your kids in a timely manner before he can get back and then try to jump out the window to escape the accountability because you thought you was going to do a deletion, self-deletion, and it didn't work. I'm gonna calm down. Now it's time for me to calm down.
What about the rest of y'all?
I was going to say that I agree with what the ladies have said previous to me, but working in public health, I do think that, medication could have exasperated a problem. And I think that if because right now we're wrestling with the vaccine schedule, and I'm seeing how partners and big pharma put money together to advocate for these people to be able to take these drugs. And I think that if you are going to be a doctor that's out here seeing patients, telling people that you can fix them with a medication, and then you don't explain to a husband or a mother or a father what a medication mixed with all these other medications can do, I think that it's a recipe for disaster. And it doesn't matter that you take time off from work or you stop traveling on your job. When you have a person that's on these kind of prescriptions, it is a recipe for disaster. So yes, she is responsible for what she did to her children. I'm not taking that away from her. I think that is horrible. I also think that people that wrote prescriptions for her should also have a bit of accountability in it also. I don't think that, now what does that accountability look like? She did what she did. But if you're going to sign up to prescribe these prescriptions, then you should be on the hook for when people do something bad to someone. I think that we're letting big pharma get away with experimenting on us. I don't think that's right. Then when things like this happen, everybody wants to just point the finger at her. But, if I'm a restaurant owner and I overserve you alcohol, and then you get in your car with your family and everybody in that car but you passes away, somebody would want to sue me for getting you drunk. So I think that, I wasn't the one that was driving the car, and I shouldn't have been driving drunk, but someone overserved me. And there would be somebody out there that would say that I was somewhat culpable for that person harming their whole family. So I think it's the same with the medical field. If you're going to be prescribing these prescriptions, then you should, if your name comes up in trial, don't wonder why you're sued.
I wouldn't disagree with that part of what you're saying, Boo. But I would also say that I think, right, how many times do we see these commercials, right? Like everybody's always talking about big pharma. They want to give you drugs. We know they do. They want to make money, right? When are we saying, child, I'm not taking that no more? Yeah, I'm not, no. Now, for her case in which she allegedly has, which I don't believe for a second, but that's just what I think. That's fine. And they do. But we also have a responsibility to start saying, child, no, I don't want that. I'm not taking that. I don't know what that does. All these lists of what it does to you, what it, the whole list when the commercial comes down. We've been hearing this since the 90s, these whole lists, and the lists get longer and longer and longer. Your nose is bleeding, but you still want to take it just because the doctor said to. We got to take some responsibility as well and say, what else is there? Because I'm not trying to have my heart stop because my toe is red. Like, this is crazy. Seriously, though, it's always take a drug and it's big pharma's fault. Well, who keeps taking what they say? I understand we got to trust our doctors, but we also got to advocate. Everything is not solved with a drug, in my opinion.
Now, and Maggie, before you go real quick, I want to read a couple super chats, but I will say this in relation to Smell the Roses, what you said about this issue of this is a tough case in the sense that I can see multiple things that multiple parties could have done. The problem is the group that's the loudest wants to put the responsibility and culpability on everybody but her. Everybody but her. And I'm like, if anybody actually listened to the case or actually listened to the people who got on the stand, who were the psychiatrists and the psychologists and psychiatrists, if you actually listen to them, all of them confirmed one thing. She never at any point met the criteria for psychosis. Period. So they asked the questions, they had it documented, they had the notes, and the thing that her entire argument, her entire defense is predicated on is something that the screens they use, which are normal screens, didn't flag for. She was not under psychosis at any point in time when the people that were meeting with her was asking her all of these questions. So, when people say, well, she had all these different medications, that's typically what happens when you keep going from doctor to doctor and keep having hospitalizations. The issue I have with the field, and I mentioned it last time, is we don't have a mechanism that forces people to bring the medication in that they were prescribed that they're saying isn't working. So right now you're just assuming, like a lot of times you're just assuming that people just give them to their loved ones or they discard them. And she now has, what was it, 13 different types of meds that's in a very short time span that she had. Was she taking all of those simultaneously? No.
Did she get toxicology?
Yeah, she had a toxicology report, and it turns out I have to actually flesh through it and read it for sure. But nothing was so high that she was like in an inebriated state to where she couldn't like control. Like you could say that it was induced by the medication, but there's nothing in her system that was high enough to really warrant that being an actual legitimate claim. So again,
so they don't put those prescriptions in your like my chart.
Yeah, but this is the thing. So if I give you a 30-day
script,
if I give you a 30-day script and you for a week you try it and it's not working, and you're saying now typically it takes a couple weeks for these meds to really, and the needle, and everybody will acknowledge this, if you've had to take anything, especially when it comes to psychiatric medication, it don't start working in 48 hours. You actually have to take it in a regimented way in which they tell you for at least 2 to 3 weeks. So she kept coming back and saying things aren't working in very short time spans. She wasn't taking it consistently. And even down when they looked at the notes, and again, I'm not going to get myself in legal trouble, but when I watch somebody like her who has a medical background do a lot of the things she did, she was creating a paper trail. She was creating a paper trail. And if anybody actually wants to test my theory, look at her notes when it came to her writing down her notes of when she took her meds. If anybody was to take it over a series of days, weeks, or months, the handwriting would look different because of times of day, mood. Sometimes you're rushing, sometimes you're taking your time. Things would just look a little off in terms of the writing. It's your handwriting, but you would be able to tell things being a little. It looked like she did the writing down of all these different days of when she took the meds in one setting, because every single column was perfectly lined up and all the numbers matched perfectly. So you can take with that what you will, but between the messages, between the notes she was taking, between all the calls, all the keywords she was reporting, I'm not going to say that she was planning this beyond what would happen if she survived the window thing, but I am saying this was somebody who, if you wanted to be in a situation where you could potentially get away with it, she did a lot of the things you typically do when you're constantly reaching out and raising these alarms and stuff. Because I'm in the camp of, if you really believe all these things, the first thing you do is take the child from me.
Mm-hmm.
Take the baby from me. I'm not safe for them. So simultaneously, you keep saying one thing, but then I'm seeing something totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm gonna read a couple super chats, and then Maggie, I want you to jump in. Mr. DJ Fly High, thank you for the $5. Should I stop dating after seeing the community of modern women are displaying in support of Lindsay? And listen, y'all, this is a good question, because more and more people are starting to ask, like, now there's the Lindsay Clancy test, where women used to say, well, did you vote for Trump or did you vote for this person or that person? I think the fellas have a legitimate concern when it comes to, well, how much are you trying to excuse or say she shouldn't be held accountable for what it is that she actually did? And do they have more empathy and sympathy for her than they do these children? So I appreciate you, sir, for that. Who else we got? Cape and Caveman. Thank you for the 5. If she gets off because of postpartum, men should be cleared from not paying child support because of post-nut clarity. Sorry, ladies, accountability. And I don't know if y'all been hearing about this, but Pearl and other people were saying postpartum is starting to look like a euphemism and excuse for women that have postnatal regret, which is once they get married and once they have a child and they end up in a situation that they don't like and they either regret having those kids or regret having his kids, all of a sudden now the symptoms start. Now all of a sudden they're unhappy. And now all of this dangerous stuff is happening. And what we're starting to wonder is we don't have a mechanism to separate the women that are really legitimately going through this versus the women that are using this as a scapegoat because they now regret the kids that they have, the life that they have, and the man that they have, the life and the kids with. So Capin, man, thank you for that. K-Word, thank you for the 5 jewels and the treat. Horizon Media Gaming, thank you for the $9.99. Good afternoon and salute to the chats. I'm going to apologize early before my auntie got on all our damn nerves. Lord, I tell you, Lindsay, a good mama, messy. Yeah, this is a very interesting case on so many different fronts, from class to race. We're definitely going to jump into that. Daff D. Harris, thank you for the 5. It all started with Eve, and this is the trickle down. Shake my damn head. And then who else we got? Cookie, thank you for the 5. I have checked the GoFundMe for this woman. Under recent donors, you will scroll forever. Not one male name. This isn't a generality. It is bad women. And then last one for now, Deaf the Reaper. Thank you for the 5. Some of these women have said it's an uncontrollable hormone they can't control. This is how people start losing rights. Hit the like button. So everybody, if you have not done so, please hit the like button. Please make sure that you send this to at least 2, 3, or even 4 people. Maggie, what you think?
I am physically sick at the thought that anybody would defend this woman. She is not a mother. She is a monster. Now, Miss Smell the Roses, I haven't met you before. I make food and femininity content. I am violently protective of the family, especially in our community. I think marriage and family is the only thing that's going to save us. So that is where my perspective is coming from. And I do appreciate you saying she is responsible. However, there are too many people who struggle with mental health issues, people in my family with depression, multiple medications. But the reason I say she is not a mother is because a mother would hurt herself before she touched a child. In the Old Testament, whatever you believe, there's a story of Solomon where 2 women who had infants at the same age came to Solomon. One of them rolled over their baby at night, and the woman whose child was still living, the other woman tried to claim and say, "That's my baby." You can read the story for yourself, whatever you believe. The point I'm making is this. When they brought it in front of Solomon, they asked him to rule on this. He said, cut the child in half and give the halves to the mothers. Mm-hmm. The woman who was the actual mother of this child said, no, give the baby to the other woman because it was more important for the child to live and the mother to lose that child as being the relationship than for her to say, sure, cut the baby in half. That is a mother. I am disgusted. I don't know if that video, it looks like it was AI.
It was AI.
Whoever put that together should be ashamed of themselves. The choice of song, and I put that in the chat. Spirit lead me. This is a gospel song called Oceans. Yep. The Spirit did not lead her to do this. And I'll say it again for the people that weren't with us last time. To have the sense enough, like Miss Crimson said, to send your husband on an errand so you could be alone with these 3 children, chase them down, and take an exercise resistance band that we know how tight that is on our legs and strangle not 1, not 2, but all 3 children until they expire. There is no spirit in that. It is demonic and it is evil. And the fact that these women are coming donned head to toe in pink, like it's the breast cancer month, which is a disease that you don't choose. This was not a disease. Is postpartum real? Yes, I have had 2 children, but you know what? We have all had that thought. You know what? I would do such and such to this person. Sometimes you're mad at somebody. Sometimes even your kids, it's like, ooh, I want to just leave you on the side of the road. You have that thought, but acting on it takes a completely different switch of intent. I believe she is 100% guilty. And again, we're sitting here contemplating whether this woman should have a second chance when those babies didn't get a first chance at life. So again, my condolences are to the father who had his whole family destroyed, to the grandparents who will never get to see their 3 grandbabies run across the field barefoot like these women are doing. The extended family, whatever gifts and talents that those children were born with, we will never know. And again, the fact that this happened in a state where they are now saying up until full term, and forgive me, but we're talking about it now, I'm going to get a little graphic. I am not speaking from experience. You can do whatever you want to do. It's a free country. But when you get to your 9th term, because I asked Mr. President about this, what happens in a 9-month abortion? You will deliver that child. They will give you medicine to dissolve this baby in you. And you are still going to be in the delivery room and have to deliver that child after you have walked around for 9 months with all the options that we have before you even get pregnant. And then for whatever reason, decide that, you know what, this is a baby that could live, but for whatever reason, I am going to terminate this pregnancy and still go through the whole delivery process. If you're going to go through the whole delivery process, why not do that and give the baby to a family that actually wants to be a mother and father? Why get to that point? It's evil. There is no other answer. And that's why I say she is not a mother. She is a monster. And I am disgusted that this is even a conversation. But the fact that it is says how far we have come. And I agree, this is a litmus test. And it's a shame. We'll all be watching to see what happens. But not one moment in time did I believe that this was some type of psychosis. She knew what she was doing.
And let me add on to this, Miss Maggie. I'm glad you went into the spiritual realm with this. Again, people can believe what they want to believe. I'm not here to argue about it. But those are sacrifices from the baby deletions that they do in Planned Parenthood, which is a eugenics program. And we know that's demonic to begin with. That's how that started. Margaret Sanger was a eugenics believer, a person who believed in eugenics. And it was her idea. It was funded by certain companies and individuals to be as prolific as they are across the country. Specifically the Democratic Party, and I'm not a political person, runs on, Kamala just got through running on baby deletions being health care for women. Had a whole trailer outside of the DNC that was doing them.
Yeah.
You understand? The woman who just signed it, the women who was fighting about Roe v. Wade, and the women who are now not patronizing, that's the wrong word, supporting, coming out in force. They're coming out in force, not 2 or 3, not just a couple wackos, weirdos. They coming out in force to sacrifice the souls of babies who are pure to their God. And their God is not the Most High. He is not the God of Abraham and of Isaac and of Jacob. That's not the God that they're doing it to. So this is demonic on several different levels. And I don't know who can take that walk with me or not. in the comments or whoever's listening to this. But this is more than just some laws or what kind of rights they think they should be having, no matter who. Because I have, out of all of the support videos disgustingly that I have seen, not one of them so-called female shaped demons, because they are not women, they do not share space with me. I do declare they do not share space with me. I'm not wearing that jacket, and women that I know don't wear that jacket. The separation has begun. Okay, these female shaped demons that want to support and make all kinds of excuses about all of that ain't said one time about the children and the suffering that they went through in that ordeal and how fearful they must have been in that situation. One more thing before I shut my mouth. The conversation about pharmaceuticals is a legit conversation. The conversation about postpartum, a legit conversation. But I don't know if the conversation about pharmaceuticals, that this is the time to really jump down that rabbit hole for this case, because it's being used as a way to cover for it. Women do not control our hormonal levels. We don't. However, we are not slaves to our natures either, nor our biologies. We can decide the behavior and the actions. No, I can't control my PMS. I might actually snap on you, but I can come back and apologize and say, I didn't mean to do that. You know what? I can communicate. I'm in perimenopause right now. The rage is real, but I can communicate. I'm very mean today, y'all. Please don't talk to me. It's not gonna be good. I mean, I say that. I will say that to my husband when I'm feeling particularly. I will, before anything, so we don't have an argument, so we don't have a problem. I'm very mean today. I'm having real mean thoughts. I'm gonna try to control that, and I do control it. That's the thing. I do control it. I communicate about it. It don't stop me from feeling it. That's gonna happen. I literally can't control that part. However, the behaviors and the things that I do as a result of those things are within my control. One more thing. I know I said one more thing. She made a paper trail, Mr. Jeff. I said that last time. This was somebody who was thinking about this and decided that when I do this, I'm gonna have these things that can point to and exonerate me and alleviate me of responsibility and accountability. I can point the finger all over the place, and I was out of my mind and all this other kind. I was taking medications that she was not taking. And like you said, when you're taking any type of psychiatric medicine or medicine for your moods and medicine for, you have to take that medicine minimum 30 days, minimum 1 month, to see what kind of effect it's actually going to have, whether the dose is too high, too low, it don't work for you. You can't determine that after a couple of dosages or a couple of times that you take that. I just never believe she need to be under the jail. Somebody just need to come do her like she did the babies. I said that last time. Somebody
Jesus. So I'm going to say this real quick because I know I got more super chats to read. My view and my lens when people are saying like, what's going on in society? Why are women like this? We don't want to acknowledge that we're in what's called late stage feminism. Late stage feminism functions like a cult. And when they function like a cult, it's putting women's desires, freedom, and autonomy as the highest ideals. And anything that infringes upon that is going to be seen as a form of oppression and harming or restricting women. So what do I mean by that? If the highest ideal is freedom, if the highest ideal is liberation for women, that means no marriage can keep them back. No parental responsibility can keep them back. Hell, their hormones can't keep them back. There's nothing that they should be. The feminist dream is for women to be 100% completely autonomous, free, liberated human beings that are not restricted by anything or anyone. That includes the life that's inside of them, the life that's dependent on them, that's come out of them. In order to get women to separate women's mind from their nature, to get them to that point, I'm going to argue they have to have a dehumanized view of everybody else. That's the only way it can work. They have to have a dehumanized view of what's in the womb. They have to have a dehumanized view of men. They have to have a dehumanized view of children. And that's why it makes sense why the only one they're treating as a saint, when you see the crowd and all the money and everything, the only one they're talking about is not him, unless they're blaming him and saying he really did it based on his astrology sign. They're not talking about the children. They're not talking about the grandmothers or grandfathers that lost their grandkids. They're talking only and seeing only the humanity of her because they function as a cult. So the this form of what's it called again? Y'all, what they were just talking about this type of depression. What do they call it?
Postpartum.
Yeah, postpartum, right? Like I said before, there's legitimate psychiatric concerns and legitimate symptoms that actually can truly be affecting a person. My view is some women are now using that label to cover up them having postnatal regret. Like I said, postnatal regret. So to show you what dehumanization looks like, I'm going to play this clip. And I hope that, especially for the audience, you guys will start to see. And when I've been saying it for the longest, especially for the men, it's not enough for you to say, well, we just going to respect each other's views. Gentlemen, y'all better get serious that the women who think like this and co-sign this, them taking your kids from you is nothing compared to what they're supporting with this. The view is that the kids are theirs, or the kids is. We had the case of the women that would take the lives of the children when the courts ordered for the kids to go into the hands of the father, and before they deliver the kids to the father, take out the kids. So this is serious when I'm arguing. So I'm going to play this, and we're going to see what you all think.
Again and again.
What have I lied about?
Even if it is killing,
What have I lied about?
I don't give a fuck if it's killing because she.
Now hold on, listen. I'm gonna turn it up. Listen carefully. Because if the indoctrination and propaganda has taken full root, what she says, other women also believe. So this is why they can cheer for late-term abortions. Listen carefully.
And you lie again and again.
What have I lied about?
Even if it is killing,
What have I lied about?
I don't give a fuck if it's killing because she can do that. It's her body. I don't care.
No, it's not her body. It's
yes,
its own
it is.
separate body.
See, that's why I can't
This
do
is
this.
a
I can't
separate
do
body.
this. Because you're lying. You just lied. That is a lie. It's
How
my
is this
body.
a part of a woman's
You're
body?
holding up a fucking rubber baby, and I'm supposed to take
This is a
you
second
seriously?
trimester baby. This is
I
a
can't
model
take
of a
you seriously. You're lying. You're lying. Everything.
This is a model of a second trimester baby.
One more thing.
This is a model of a second trimester baby. This baby is a separate body from the woman's body. I support a woman's right over her own body. She can do whatever she wants. But this baby has its own body. This baby deserves their own bodily autonomy, which should begin at conception when their life begins.
What phase is that? There are 3 phases.
This is the second trimester.
No. What phase? You're educated. There are 3 phases of a baby, correct?
Yes, and this is second trimester.
No, not trimesters. I'm talking phases.
What?
You say you're educated. Let's talk.
What are phases?
Zygote, embryo, fetus.
Okay,
you don't know that. So I don't want to talk anymore.
Those are terms for.
So when I've been trying to tell people for the longest that people who have a dehumanized view of humanity and everything but themselves, we've shifted from abortion is murder to murder isn't murder. That's what's happening in the minds of millions of women. When the clip y'all just saw, look at what she was holding in her hands and look at how the crowd was reacting. So she's holding that in her hands and they're balking and going off at her. So again, I'm talking to the men now. Y'all still want to be careless when it comes to who y'all knocking up, who y'all marrying, who y'all doing life with? Because these people can vote. And we're going to talk about this female autonomy and what does it mean when it comes to women who can blame their hormones for certain things, but they should be entrusted with being able to have all these positions of power. So what do y'all think about my conclusion that one of the reasons that we are where we are, where so many women are only able to see, I must be crazy. I was under the impression that a saint was somebody who potentially lost their life, sacrificed something for a noble cause, and they're treating her like the saint, and her children are completely forgotten. Anita, why don't you start me off? What you think?
So it's interesting. You talked about, there was a couple things. So you said postnatal regret.
Yep.
Is that what you called it? Okay. We need to understand that because people are so emotionally immature, right? They're so stunted. Their development is so arrested. People have to understand that being a parent, being a wife, is a sacrificial thing, right? There cannot be a level of narcissism. There cannot be a level of selfishness. Like, that's what you're walking into. And I think women like the idea of it. And then when it becomes real, that there is something expected from you. You are expected to sacrifice. You are expected to be selfless. I think that, it's like that and their narcissism comes crashing together. And like you said, they're like, no, I don't want to be self-sacrificing. I don't want to be selfless. I want it to be about me. And it's like this cognitive dissonance. That's what's really happening. That, oh my gosh, this is not what I thought, or this is not just posting cute baby pictures or wedding pictures. I actually have to consider others. And we know today's woman doesn't want to do that. They don't want to consider anyone, not a man, not their children. So it's no wonder why these young women are so angry and so frustrated, because this woman is actually making the case that, this rubber baby that I'm holding up, yes, it's someone else. It's not your body. It's a whole human being that I want you to consider. And that woman said, we don't give an F.
Nina, did you pick the part where she said, I don't care what it is? I don't care if you call it killing. I'm going to do what I want to do. Like, I'm wanting this. The reason why I'm saying that this is so dire, and I asked it on the live that I just did, but I'm saying it to the men. Where do you think these ladies, again, we don't have to make it too political. How do you think these ladies, what do you think they're advocating for politically?
Child, this is what I was about to say. These are all liberal.
So when I said in 2025 and black folks went all for me, and I'm saying, brother, if you serious.
The girl is the conservative, but bring that video back up. Look at these heifers. You think they don't even take care of their daggone selves. Look at her. As many times as I said, y'all, I'm not listening to y'all. Y'all look crazy. These people look crazy. They sound crazy. They got no care for themselves. Look at them. Look at the girl up front and then look at them. Look at this crowd of people. A bunch of bitches. Sorry. But these white women, somebody in the chat is upset that I said white women. It's white women. I don't care. Get mad. Y'all ain't got shit to say when I'm talking about black people. Now I'm talking about y'all. Y'all crazy. Own this. This is y'all. Now, any black people that want to go and find behind them, that's your Democratic 92%. Y'all crazy too. And when they end up being okay and the black people don't, remember this. Okay, these people look crazy. Why would I listen to them? Look at them. Look at that heifer. They screaming because she brought up a baby. As soon as a woman is pregnant and like she gets in a car accident, like somebody said, isn't that a special circumstance if they killed a baby in the midst of that car accident? Yeah. So it matters then. But when you want to do it, it doesn't matter. That don't even make sense. It matters all the daggone time, heifers. But y'all want to be like somebody else said in the chat. Women think that they God. And that's exactly what they've always wanted, is to be in charge and to tell everybody else what to do while being absolved of not having to be responsible for anything, in my opinion.
I think that's the one thing that women, that's the one thing that they can control. So because it's what they can control, they absolve themselves of the thought that it's killing someone, it's murder. And just because that baby is inside of you, like she said when she was holding it up, this is a separate being from you. It's in there, but it's its own person with its own brain and its own heart and its own set of lungs. Like if it was you, then you two would be what do you call it? Siamese twins or conjoined twins, right? The baby would never leave you if it was you, if it was just you, but it's not. So yeah, when I saw that earlier, I was pissed. Like, and looking at the crowd, messy, I mean, maybe those women have no other choice but to think that way. because
Well,
nobody's trying to make them mothers, you know? I mean,
hold on.
you can't participate in what the
I have-
guys aren't choosing you for.
Now I'm gonna read some super chats because we got a whole bunch, and I see 46 super chats, and I realized I've been sleeping, so I'm gonna run through a bunch of these. But I am gonna say I'm starting to realize a trend when it comes to all the women that supporting all of these most extreme clauses. They happen to be old or ugly. Why is it that so many of the women that support this stuff, it just so happens that they either are beyond being able to do or engage in the very things they're advocating for, or they not on the top of the list of most men's options or choices.
Correct.
90% of them are 60 plus, or they're unattractive. So that I'm just starting to notice that pattern. Now, Juliet Group, thank you for the $100 banger. Please explain why it is not correct for, I'm not going to say that part, publicly in the nude with the body left to rot for weeks to serve as a warning. Between this insanity and collapsing debt-ridden economy, winter in the West is sure to be brutal. I'm going to say this, man. Have any of y'all on the panel seen Handmaid's Tale?
Yeah, I agree with some of those forms of punishment.
I'm going to say this right now. When me and my wife first watched it, we thought, this is crazy, but this ain't going to happen. And then the last 2 years, I've watched the things that I've seen in this country. And I realize it's not going to change or improve if left to their own devices. I recognize that now. The one video I showed earlier, I don't know if it was here or the last stream, with the lady that was waving in the undocumented immigrants in other countries, waving in people that you don't know when you're the first one that they're going to attack when the lights are off. Like this suicidal empathy is so dangerous to me. This is why you get a drag queen story time in your schools. This is how you get there. This is how you get to people justifying all of these types of behaviors and actions. So I'm very, very concerned. But appreciate you, brother, for the 100. Clock HVAC, thank you for the 10. Holding on to the V card, gentlemen, until you're 28 don't seem like a bad idea, fellas. No offense to Smell the Roses, but the white women are insane, just like these hyenas in our community. Listen, brother,
I don't take offense, Clock. Okay, that ain't my testimony.
Yeah, so there is a percentage of women in every demographic. Again, people can put it on liberal, progressive. I don't care what you call it. There is some crazy in every group. And there's a large group that sees nothing wrong with this, and they're actually advocating and supporting it. Death to Reaper, $2. Words have meaning. Thank you, sir, for that. My guy Mauricio, $5. If they support Taylor Swift, Kamala Harris, and Lindsay Clancy, just run. Woo! Lee Turner, 10 jewels. Thank you for the 10 jewels in the coin. David Hogg, thank you for the 5. Can we skip the discussion and start talking about the autopsy results on the mother's brain? Well, I think you mean the toxicology report, but I appreciate it. But yeah, so again, I haven't looked at it enough to know to give a real definite on that. But Erin Lauren, don't forget to like the stream. 40 member of 49 months. And who's side she on? Whose member is that?
Well, I think she
Oh,
follows
Maggie?
a little bit of all of us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we all kind of follow each other or subscribe.
There I said it. $5. That is the word I was waiting to hear. Evil. Lee Turner, 10 jewels. Growth Talk, $5. Where they found the little boy. They believe he saw the oldest get it first and tried to run to his dad's office. Shake my head. I don't know with clarity for that, but the reality is she went after all three. And that's the most sickest part about it. And after the first one, if you knew you did something wrong, I can't even think about it. Death to Reaper, Kaylee Earhart just took her kids out. Yeah, there's some again, the news is just now covering this epidemic of women taking out their kids left and right, and we didn't even know that this stuff was trending or was happening. Celine, $9.99. Lindsay deserves the death penalty. RIP to those 3 precious babies. Cora, age 5. Dawson, age 3. And Colin, 8 months. Women supporting Lindsay is why I can't have many female friends, because they are crazy. And this is the other thing with everybody thinking they're now true crime detectives and TikTok professionals when it comes to like basing everything on your inferences, feelings, and birth signs is crazy work to me. Crazy work. Daphne Harris, thank you for the 5. Men's mental health and them deleting themselves has no sympathy. But a woman with mental health and deletes her kids gets praised and supported. We know the stats.
$1
We know
million.
that.
She got $1 million. Like,
I'm gonna say this, and I think I'm gonna say from when we wrap things up there for the non-white women that's getting involved in this stuff and wanting to get behind it and support it, exactly what Messi and the others said. How much money you think they would have raised for y'all? Seriously, that's a serious ass question for all of y'all that's convinced this is about fighting the patriarchy and this is about all women. Do you think when you saw that crowd, you think that crowd was gonna be out there for your black ass? Be honest with me.
If it's a white person involved, maybe. If it's a police officer, probably. But that don't mean you're getting all that support from all those white women. No.
Come on now. Queen of Vibes, $9.99. Jeff and ladies. Jeff, have you seen the bitch who abused and kicked her son out on a camera? Another recent incident. Yeah, the streamer. I just saw it today. And we've been so desensitized with female violence for so long. I think the internet is unfortunately changing our perspectives of women and female nature, and realizing the whole believe all women thing had to go out the window at this point. Hell, this woman done claimed and told you she's admitting to it, and people still don't believe her. So take with that as you will. Horizon Media Gaming. So black women once again jumping out the window for a community who don't give a damn about them. This one in particular literally jumped. Yeah, I've seen the TikToks and I'm like, ladies, they're not going to be crashing out for y'all. They're not doing no GoFundMe's for y'all.
We seen any Republicans say anything or conservatives say anything?
I seen one. You know who I seen? Candace Owens.
Oh, well, that heifer sound crazy. But I meant any of them to come through and say, oh my God, they're gonna let it go because that's just gonna help them, I believe, come midterms. Just let them go ahead and keep going. Sounding crazy.
Damien,
for us.
Damien, thank you for the 10 jewels. No fear, Jair. Thank you for the $10. Should criminals like this be prevented from future pregnancies? Well, this is an interesting one because it starts with I have heard of cases when women had one too many kids and they're relying on the system. Judges have ordered their tubes tied. I have heard of cases like that, but it's a very, very delicate line when it comes to ordering people's reproductive abilities to be stopped. Take with that what you will. Mauricio, $5. We don't let alcoholics off the hook after DUI wrecks. We throw the book at them, but alcoholism is a disease of the mind. Yeah, 45 to life, please. Michael Malice, modern postpartum life is abnormal. Historically, mothers had grandmothers, aunts, definitely had a communal support system, and it wasn't just all on the moms, and that's absolutely true. The problem is that she had a nanny at some point. She had in-laws at some point. He started working from home at some point. So I think she's probably had more support than 80% of women in the country. So this is one of those where she had something in her mind, and I think she was going to go through with it regardless of the support that she had. But that's neither here nor there. Stronger Cypher, $5. So many things are eating the USA from the inside, but there is nothing more dangerous than these types of women. Feminism is insidious. Robert, thank you for the 2. I'm with the babies. Give the gas, $2 as well. Def the Reaper, $2. How many have done this month? Nasty numbers. Cirrus, $10. Do we see the same or equal outrage considering we have the most baby deletions as a race? Yeah, that's a whole nother discussion of, I don't know what to make of the fact that we're seeing how women are openly cheering and supporting this. And as disgusting as it is to see those crowds, the black demographic does more, which is surreal to think about. And I'm like, I don't know if I would ever even see black women go to these lengths to quote unquote show support in a situation like this. I'm like, yeah, we may our community may get a lot of abortions, but I'm like, but I don't see a lot of sisters running to support somebody that does any person, black, white, I just don't see a thousands and thousands of black women jumping up. Look, again, I could be proven wrong, but I don't see that happening. I think we even us will draw a line somewhere. Elizabeth, $5. What mom hasn't broken down after being up all night with a baby or burning the candle at both ends? You either have the maternal instinct or not. Growth Talk, $5. Just want to make sure we don't skip the support the husband gave by taking 12 weeks off and starting to work from home. Yep, just mentioned that. Debate, $10. Medication ain't got nothing to do with what she did. That was all her. And again, who knows what she for sure had in her system. It's just something where I think it's an ugly situation, and I do wish justice is served, that she actually gets real time. I'm not confident about it based on the way things are trending, but you never know. Cat Williams had a joke about the drug commercials. Thank you for the fire, Pooh Man. Messianic, $20. The amount of excuses that women are making for this murderer is absolutely astounding. Death Reaper, $5. Drug cures C19, but gives you cancer, renal failure, and high blood and blood clots. Who said that? Make sure you hit the like button. Dr. AJ, $5 additional entrance fee. Greetings, salute to Mrs. Stoudemire. Entrance fee and greetings, salute to Michonne. Hold on. They'll have to release Susan Smith that drove hers. Oh, in the lake, and she had the kid strapped in. Yeah, I just peeked. Oh my God, this is.
That was in 1994, and women were ready to drag her for filth. And now in 2026, people are dressed in pink for her.
We are the total opposite. And that's why we know something has changed with women. Because in the 90s, the overwhelming majority, women would go off over the most minor things. Just finding out that you were abusing your child, women would like be enraged. Now they're on the opposite end of the spectrum, and the propaganda is crazy. Lord Sinister, $5. This case proves why a matriarchy would be infinitely worse than the patriarchy. They would let a murderer walk over how she felt while killing the child. And then the last one that I'll read for now before we get ready to wrap things up. $50, Maggie and Crimson. Now, if a man did this, there would be no excuses made, no talks about PTSD or medication. Secondly, if a man did this and was sent to jail, the inmates would take care of him. Will the inmates take care of her? No. If you want to know the truth, that's not going to happen. Konami, $5. In this so-called patriarchy that has ever been $1 million raised by men for a man who murdered his own children. Like, you gotta wonder about the feminists that see and hear and realize that the craziness of this, and realizing like y'all know that men would never do this, and they still say women have better natures. I'm like, come on, man. TKO Thunder, 250 joules. Laughing Disco, Unity is strength, $10. Can you talk about black women saying they rather come to the defense of white women who delete their children than any black man deleted by white men if he has white friends or wife or girl? Ooh. Well, I mean, there's I can't deny what I see with my own eyes. There's a little bit of truth in that. If you as a black man are associated with a white woman in any way, shape, or form, and you get hurt, ran through, accused, or deleted, I don't see almost anybody any black.
Remember when they told that African dude to rest in his preference?
Oh yeah, but now to be fair, I've been hearing that now.
6 years and served 4, so what she gonna be out in 2?
Yeah. Now to be fair, I've been hearing that a lot now, both ways of people saying that now, resting your preferences. And again, there is something to say if you've been disparaging black women and saying they're disgusting, I don't like them, they're not attractive, and then something happens to you. I don't care what happened to you either. So I don't blame them for not wanting to have any empathy for you as well. So the last thing I wanted to play before we kind of wrap things up was this discussion about race. So I'm just going to play this, and then we're going to see what you ladies have to say, and then I'll read the remaining super chats, and we'll close things out.
A black man, you know what? It don't even matter that as a black man. It's a little bit more disappointing that as a black man, but a man got on TikTok and told black women not to take up arms for a white woman facing trial for her kids due to postpartum fill in the blank. That type of struggle ain't got no color. And we damn sure ain't listening to no man telling us what to care about when it comes to birth protections, motherhood, postpartum, anything. We're not.
And this is why I don't trust black women with blonde hair, because some of y'all are sucking from the tits of white women so bad that you are willing to defend child unaliving. How indoctrinated into white feminism do you have to be in order to stand up against black men to defend a child murderer? Y'all are not okay. Some of y'all are really mentally not okay. Yes, postpartum is a thing. Also, you should go to jail if you unalive your children. How are we having this conversation for this long? I didn't even make a video about the Lindsay Clancy situation because I was like, that's gonna blow over in a couple days. Some of you are sick in the head. Stay so far away from me. If you have a problem with this Lindsay Clancy situation, I swear, never speak to me again. I don't want to hear it. And for men, this is a tester. Ask her this before you even take her out on a first date. And if she has something like this dumb shit to say, leave that bitch where she stands.
Sorry, but the conspiracy theories you guys are creating around this lady who killed her 3 children has proven to me that I actually don't want a jury of my peers to do anything about a case I'm in. You are stupid, you're brain dead, you're gullible, and you're so proud of your lack of any research or skill, and I can't take it. I'm seeing motherfuckers in comments talking about, well, Leos don't kill their children, but he's a Gemini. A Leo and a Gemini, that's toxic. Their birth sign, that's what you're basing your belief on whether or not someone killed 3 children off of? Birth signs? Vibes? Weird energy? This is what happens when all you interact with is true crime. You begin to actually believe you are some type of detective. No, Laura, you are a middle management HR person who lives in Galveston, Texas. You've never seen a crime happen in front of you in your life. You are so sheltered that the most fun you can have is making a joke out of the death of 3 children. I hate you. Hate you so much. Oh my God, this is embarrassing. You're all grown adults and you are so embarrassing. It's so annoying. I'm sorry, but the conspiracy theory.
Shout out to both those ladies and Janice, who's a recent guest and friend of the show. What y'all think?
I love the last girl. I loved it. I feel the same way. I am embarrassed to share the same sex, the same gender with these people. I love it.
You know, I wanted to say this too. I'm gonna double down on the demonic reasoning behind this, because if this was about women's bodies from their perspective, because I got respect for women's bodies because I'm a woman, but from the idiot's perspectives, if this was about respect for women's bodies, or the real choice not to be a mom if you didn't want to be a mom, or doing any of that, the focus would be on not getting pregnant, not deleting kids after you pregnant and done had them. That would not be the focus. This is why I say it's demonic and they're sacrificing kids, because if it was about, I don't want to have kids, I don't feel that I should have to sacrifice my life. Let's say I'm real selfish and I don't want to share my life. Women like that should not be pregnant. They should not be moms, because you're selfish and you don't want to share your life and you don't want to be selfless and you don't want to take care of your kids or no kids and stuff like that. That's fine if that's who you want to be. But why isn't the focus on we don't even be getting pregnant? So deletions and having all this freedom to do it. See, I'm bothered by the expansion of the law to include anytime I want to do it for any reason, just because. That's where I'm having the biggest problem. Because when we're talking about medical emergencies, first of all, miscarriages are going to happen naturally regardless. And then if we're talking about the minority of situations where there's a rape and you got pregnant, and then or there's an incest and you got pregnant, or there is some unfortunate thing or a medical emergency where I have to do this or else I'm gonna perish. Those things are rare, but they're necessary because those are things that happen in real life. It's the expansion beyond that I got a problem with. I can just do it as retroactive birth control. I can just do it because I let this dude shoot the club up and girl, I don't even know his name. Ooh, girl, let me take care of that. That kind of foolishness. Girl, you better take care of that. I'll give you the money. You better go ahead and get rid of that. I ain't trying to be no daddy.
Now hold on, Crimson. But remember, they've been arguing for the longest about going all the way up until birth. Now we're seeing after birth as well. They're
Right.
advocating for
And
full
this is
right.
exactly. I
Yeah.
know that they do that, Mr.
Mhm.
Jeff, and this is why I'm doubling down on this is about sacrifice and deleting. This is about the actual act of the deleting and the spiritual implication of that. Because if we were talking about just not having kids, nobody would have a problem if you just weren't pregnant to begin with. If the focal point was on better types of birth control. Birth control that don't mess a woman up like that, or birth control that's more safe, or birth control that's more effective, or, and this is how you know it's a spiritual problem because don't nobody believe in no God. Keep your legs closed, boom, and then you will not have a child. If you have more control over your sexual urges, but you always want to get clapped up, and then you want to be irresponsible about it, and then you want to let somebody shoot the club up because you so busy running around. Okay, now we got to talk about what to do after you done been stupid. But what we really should be talking about is not getting into that position in the first place. This is not 1765 where you get pregnant and that just is what it is. There wasn't no way to prevent it. You just, you know what I'm saying? You just got pregnant and that's it. This is 2026. There are plenty of different ways, including abstinence, where you can just simply not be pregnant. And it is a simple thing. But they want to do this kind of stuff. This is where the laws and study arguing about it. Because what is it to argue about? What are y'all arguing? I land my plane.
The right to play God. And I hope that people who have watched this episode and enjoyed this conversation, the women who think like this want to be God. They want to be judge, creator, destroyer, executioner. They want, I told you before, they want the perks of feminism, which pushes and tells them you get access to full liberation, and anything that infringes upon that, you have the right to set aside. And whether it's a person, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a marriage, it does not matter. Anything that calls a woman in 2026 to be held accountable, be responsible for, that is something that women, by and large, will want to be able to shirk whenever it is that she sees fit. So, and then just to the last few super chats, Hiram speak on it, $5. No one is trying to make them mothers. That was diabolical. Yeah, listen, there's a whole, never mind, I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you for the 10 jewels. Richard, thank you for the $6.99. Feminism fights for the world to take care of them without reciprocating. Ooh. Sympathy and empathy for them only. Damn. Well, Lee Turner, thank you for the 10 jewels. 3 a.m. adoptee, thank you for the 10 jewels and gold coin as well. Brother Num, thank you for the 5. 3 a.m. adoptee voices, 2 jewels and a silver star. Chris B, this case is the Casey Anthony remix. Yes, all over again. But I would argue it's even worse because at least I felt like it was more split. At least I saw a lot of women that were still way more angry. Like this is, I feel like every woman that's standing up now, the people are trying to come at them. So this is ruthless. Pop Light, thank you for the 10. Real Books, 30 jewels in the flower. Thank you for that. Micah Malice, Leon, the government, thank you for the 5. The government should not possess an irreversible power to kill its own citizens. Yeah. And to the state shouldn't be entrusted with the power to execute them. Yeah. Clock each AFAC. This is why it's important for men to be selective. With these new guys being careful, it's going to be a lot of women without kids, and for good reason. Absolutely, gentlemen. This has got to be a part of your screening tool now. Justin, thank you for becoming a new member. There's some black women support. Yeah, there's always going to be a minority, unfortunately. Cook it, $5. No love for the father who had to hold his 8-month-old as life support was pulled. Not only that, apparently he's the villain. Message received. Gents, and again, every time I say when ladies show themselves on the internet, there's a consequence that's coming. The one thing that y'all think that men is not emotionally intelligent on, we adapt. Men adapt. That's the one thing men will do. When they see something is dangerous or not working out, they will eventually adapt. The Reaper, $5. Don't forget Andrea Yates, who drowned her 5 kids in Texas. She is now free. Let that sink in. Women can cry and get away with anything. Lord. JB2, 2 jewels. Death to Reaper, $2. I bet they would feel different if it was a dog. And that's the other thing. If this white woman had taken out 3 puppies, they would have said, give her the death sentence. They value puppies more than they value these 3 kids. Say I'm lying. Say I'm lying. They would value puppies more than they value these 3 kids. This is incredible. Cape and Caveman, $5. More proof that women will change their minds just like they do with their vows, but never change their attitudes. Stronger Cipher, $5. Feminism is the serpent now. Let that sink in. Death to Reaper, over 23 contraceptives, and they choose
ABs, abortions.
Hit the like, everybody, and if you haven't done so, please make sure you hit the like and make sure you subscribe to everybody you see on the screen. We're literally about to wrap things up. Not the clapping, Ms. Crimson. Lee Turner, last 3. Thank you, sir, for the gold coin, the 10 jewels. Real book, same is for sure. Appreciate it. Quality guy, happy. Okay, 10 jewels. Thank you, sir, for that. And then last but not least, Frederick Howard. So everybody, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. We're going to wrap things up with just playing some clips, and then obviously we're done. So everybody have a good evening. We'll see y'all on the other side. Make sure y'all tune in for all these ladies' respective platforms, and make sure that y'all are members of our platforms if you are not members, for sure. And like I said, your boy has an announcement coming pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. So like I said, everybody have a good evening, and we'll see y'all on the other side. Peace.
Day 17 just wrapped in the trial against the Massachusetts mother who admitted to killing her 3 children in January of 2023. Lindsay Clancy's attorneys called just one witness today before the judge then dismissed the jury until tomorrow. Live now to CBS News national correspondent Meg Oliver, who watched the proceedings.
Good to see you, Reed. Yeah, so outside the courthouse today, dozens of women showed up dressed in pink in support of Lindsay Clancy. They traveled from as far away as New York, Tennessee, Florida, and they're calling for better postpartum health care and mental
of female agency. Are women responsible for their actions or not? Are women ultimately individuals who can be judged by their actions, the merits of their behavior, and held responsible for what they do? Or are women at some level of diminished capacity, and they require someone else to watch over them and to ultimately be responsible for the things that they do? Maybe not children, but, like somebody who has a guardianship of some kind, where they're just not fully in, they don't have full mental capability. They can't, they need someone with like a power of attorney over them to ultimately make their decisions. Like what is the actual culpability of women? And it seems that the answer from feminists, both on the left and the right, inside the liberal and conservative movement, is that women are strong and independent. As Kristen said here, they're the ones holding the conservative movement aloft with their incredible ability. They're the ones who are doing everything as they nurse their children and bake their bread. Or are women completely subject to their own hormones and feelings and emotions, and they can just lose that agency at any moment, and then everything is on men and the system? Which one is it? And the answer seems to be, from the feminists, both left and right, the answer seems to be both. That women have some kind of Schrodinger's agency. It exists as long as they want to do what they want to do, as long as they want to lead, be in charge, take whatever position they want. But it disappears the minute they have to hold the bag, the minute the bill comes due, the minute the consequences flow from those decisions.